We are back here at the Star West conference, starting our traditional and usual set of interviews where we're trying to bring you all the experts, the thought leaders, and the people that are coming here to teach you, share their experiences, their knowledge, so that you can grow here. And here with me, I have my amigo. I hope I'm not gonna butcher your name, Chaitanya Bhatt.
Yes.
Did I
Yeah,
do it
you
well?
got it.
Yeah, it's yeah. Sorry. I always apologize because I'm very good at butchering names of people that are not that unknown to me. Welcome, Chaitanya. How are you?
Thank you. Doing well. It's an exciting day. It's a bright day. We are in Disney, so can't complain.
Yeah, it's quite an experience being here at not only the Star Conference, but to be at the Disneyland Hotel. It's
Absolutely.
something else, right?
Has a positive vibe all over. A lot of energy, and generally people are pleasant. I think the place actually has a magic to it.
No pun intended. I mean, actually, you can feel some of it. And amigo Chaitanya, uh, to start this interview, and for the people that do not know you, would you mind introducing yourself, who you are,
Okay.
what do you do, why are you here at the conference, and what makes you special?
Uh, I'm an everyday engineer. I wouldn't call myself special.
That's
Um,
a special.
uh, I have worked in the industry, in the software industry, for about 18 years.
Wow.
Um, I started uh, working in the world of performance engineering and testing in the year 2007. Um, I worked for a company that got acquired by Hewlett Packard, and that's how I got introduced to Load Runner. And so
Ooh.
I didn't know back then that uh, that that domain was called performance engineering. I was sort of like new to this world of even a profession, like, and just graduated. And when I saw the magic that Load Runner had, it was quite an advanced tool. Um, so I was learning a lot back then. There was very little help from the internet. Internet contents were quite limited, and so I was very curious. I did a lot of self-learning, but I should thank the company that they were doing a lot of consulting, and so I was working for major companies, General Motors and so on. So I got a lot of exposure earlier on in my career uh, to complex systems. So that spun off, and I got exposed to site reliability engineering, system operations. I even worked in a data center at some point briefly.
Cool.
So we
Like
were
like the actual
the
basement when
actual
they
data
have the
center,
racks and all that.
the actual data center where we had to do load testing inside the data center.
Cool. Were you doing this experience that you bring your? Usually, you have to bring like a smaller laptop device and plug it into the rack too, so you
Yeah,
can.
so we had there was a rack console and all of those things, and we were using all of
Cool.
that stuff. And basically because we had a really gnarly problem, and the only way we could isolate that problem, and this was I was back in India back then, right? Like, and the only way we could nail down to the root cause of the problem with limited tooling, the fastest way is to go where the servers are and
Wow.
then eliminate all the other confusion. If the problem is in the switch, you basically
Whoa.
straight up
A data
uh,
center switch.
a data center switch,
Wow.
then you basically go right there and solve it. That used to be back then. It was just
Speaking of
easier.
digging the source of the problem to the source.
But then, I had amazing opportunities. I should thank my luck as well, working for all these companies. And then I got an opportunity to come to the States. I worked as a consultant for Wells Fargo Bank. And then I was a performance engineer there. Again, worked for many clients outside of Wells Fargo as well. Then I got a job at Intuit in the year 2013. So since 2013, I've been working for Intuit, but spun off my career. I'm not just a performance engineer. I've got more interested in the overall space of site reliability engineering and operations. So performance is one of the capabilities that I manage at Intuit. I also work on HADR, building HADR automations for the whole company, and also operational data lake, like where all the ops data goes into a data lake, and then we build tooling and automations.
Do you mind quickly for the people that do not know, because I think that's very interesting and not everybody knows what is a data lake.
A data lake is essentially, I mean, a central data funnel where you can take structured or unstructured data, and you
Most
can,
commonly unstructured.
yeah, most come in the form of unstructured data. You dump it, and then when you really need it, you can transform the data to whatever format and consume it for analytical purposes. Like you want to know what the engineers have been doing in the world of load testing in the last 10 years. Let's say you've been managing your data lake for the last 10 years, you can get a good glimpse of which organizations in your company has been promptly doing load tests, to what scale are they testing. And it's not just in the realm of testing. I mean, any operational data information can be uh, gathered if you're promptly sending all the vital critical data to the data lake. At Intuit, we had some amazing thought leaders who thought about this problem very early on. So we've had a operational data lake for many, many years. And so we've been able to gather insights about our operational posture at any point in time. If we want to know how many servers are running, what are the conditions of the server at this any moment, real time or historic, we have all of those data in our ops data lake.
It's crazy, these data lakes. I mean, I wanted to stop a little bit because they haven't been brought up on these interviews that much, and I'm happy to hear that you're working with those. Because yeah, it's like a big lake of data where it was just dropped there, like by rain, by mountains, by think of that's more or less the example. And what the work that Chaitanya was doing was kind of to filter it through a pump so that it can be drinkable in a format that we can use it and it's useful. It's a great concept. Everybody, if you are not familiar with it, there's a lot of work around it. If I have heard, because many organizations generate so much data and drop it somewhere over their lake. And then what do we do with this? But that's a treasure. There are hidden treasures inside of that lake. And the job to pull them up is well paid, to say the least. So, Chaitanya, nowadays, what are you working on? What are
Yeah.
your endeavors?
I'm managing three capabilities at Intuit. I work in the central platform team. So we provide horizontal capabilities for the whole company. A little bit about the company that I work for. I work for Intuit. We make flagship products like QuickBooks, TurboTax, Credit Karma, and Mailchimp. Um, we roughly have around 100 million customers in United States and rest of the world. And so we have, I mean, to manage such a large user base, providing critical day-to-day functions like bookkeeping, payments, payroll, you gotta, I mean, the systems are naturally going to be very complex. So I manage the performance engineering capabilities, the ops data lake capabilities, and the HADR capabilities. So these are horizontal capabilities. Any team that wants to use these capabilities, they can actually use it and enhance those features that we provide. So we don't want every team to go and build their own HADR or ops data lake or performance tooling. So this is a central capability that we provide in the form of the portal. That's like a Intuit internal implementation of a developer portal. We call it Dev Portal, and all of these features are offered through this portal to all the developers in our company.
Hmm.
And so I own a few capabilities, and there are a lot more that we offer through our platform teams.
Wow. And I'm sure that given all the tools and the complexities that Intuit might have internally, you most probably are really busy and playing a lot
Yeah,
around on that, right?
yeah. I mean, the problems are endless. Right now, everyone in our company is oriented towards using AI, infusing AI capabilities in the product. So it's changing the whole paradigm of how operations happen.
Mhm.
There's operations to just manage a new third party provider who provides us all those models and hosts those models. How do you test for those? How do you consume it? How do you evaluate those models? How do you do observability for on those products who are using those models? I mean, it's I think we have a lot of work to do uh, getting into this space.
You mentioned, and a quick parenthesis, this is about to get a little bit messy because the keynote is about to finish. So we're going to have to have the
Okay.
mics next to the chin. People, it gets loud here. Beware. So, out of these challenges and new changes that you say that there are being some updates, uh, which one would you say is the one that is impacting you the most, or that you are like working most towards?
Um, so there are multiple focus for the company. I think AI is number one. Um,
Okay,
we
it's been 11 minutes and AI has been brought up into the, and this is going to happen a lot. Sorry
yeah,
to interrupt, but
yeah,
there's always a bit.
we are a very customer focused company. So I mean, everyone I'm sure over here already have used AI ever since they got up. It's just 9:41, and I'm sure AI has been in their pockets. They've been using AI products, so it's what we do. I think like we follow what the customers want, and so a lot of stuff that we work on is based off of their needs, and so there's the products have to fundamentally change, and so the workload models that we test are going to fundamentally change. The pressure that we put on our servers is going to fundamentally change. The systems that we use are going to change, and so we are anticipating all of these changes, and we are orienting ourselves to this new world.
Yeah, the changes that are coming with all these new AI capabilities. Yesterday, we were doing an interview with another tutorial presenter, Julio de Lima, and he was worried about the bandwidth of the hotel because they were gonna be prompting so much from here, generating so much, receiving so much. So, do you see that there's gonna be a significant increase due to AI in our requirements,
Yeah,
hardware and
yeah,
infrastructure?
absolutely. Because when agents are doing all the work, when it's autonomous, when the features are autonomous, like let's say you're a performance engineer in 2020, you had a set of workflows that are given to you, and you're just gonna go through those screens in the product. You're gonna record the workflow, but these workflows are going to be automated, autonomous. You don't even know whether the workflows are going to follow the same pattern, depending on the data, depending on the prompts. This is going to fundamentally change the way load testing tools, for instance, are going to be uh, developed, and how they're going to evolve as well. So it has a huge impact on the performance engineering community, and I think even in terms of how we evaluate a service, we used to only care about the APIs, but now there's going to be all these large language models, the orchestrator layer. So the performance is also going to be a combination of measuring overall latencies of all the tools that the agents are going to use, and also these time to token kind of metrics that are going to come into play, which is going to help us understand how fast or slow was the overall workflow, right? Like if the workflow if the workflow was manually executed in 15 seconds or 30 seconds, how long did it take now when it's autonomous? And so those kind of metrics are probably going to come into the fore.
There are several new metrics that sometimes we don't think about. I mean, among performance engineers and QA people in general, everybody tuning. If you're not a performance engineer, don't turn off the stream. Don't log out. This is very transcendental because we are going to be having new quality checks and markers with AI, as you were saying. Is a full process integration with NCP, now not anymore just the API. How long did the API take to respond? But how the full flow of the model connecting MCPs and
Yes.
different services. It's gonna get really interesting, and I have heard that lots of new measurements and things that, as a performance engineer and QA engineer, we need to pay attention to, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I think like there are so many protocols like MCP. We thought MCP was it, then A2A came in, and now
How long ago was
like
A2A? I mean, a month, too.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
I'm
and it's
barely.
already like super popular now. And then a lot of vendors are already supporting A2A and MCP and so on, so things like
I was joking, and I'm happy. I should have put some money on the table. No one would have taken that bet. Last Star East, I was saying that the MCP was a new term, and that there was something new that we were gonna be talking about next Star West, a few months after, and here we are. New term, new things, and get ready, everybody. AI is bringing things at breakneck speed. That I bet you next Star conference that we do this, there's gonna be a new thing.
yes.
I'm sure. I'm totally sure. And now switching up lanes a little bit and talking about STAR conferences. You are presenting today, later. Stay tuned. Here at Star West. Amigo, can you share a little bit about your talk? What is it about? Just to spoil it. Not. gr- don't
Sure.
make it go out. But give us a brief. What is the title? What is it about?
The title is how Intuit democratized load testing at Intuit, right? And the in a gist, it's nothing but like what was our journey like when we shift lefted load testing and performance engineering. And most companies have gone through this journey where, like, if you're a company like Intuit, we've been in the industry for over 30 years. We are one of those few companies in the Silicon Valley who've been uh, growing and growing for 30 years. And so we've started as monoliths like any other company would in the 90s. And those monoliths have been chipped away into microservices. In the last 10 to 15 years, there have been more and more services that have been developed. So organizations have gone through changes, and it's put organizations in a situation where it's inevitable they will have to look for shift left as a solution to scale. So DevOps culture, having everyone being able to do load testing. These were organic processes that most companies went through. And so I just wanted to share our experience and how we were able to use Gatling SaaS to help us with this journey. And wanted to share a few metrics as to where we were and where we are today.
I'm curious. I mean, on your talk, you're going to be mentioning all these tricks and situations. There's one thing that you mentioned, the democratizing load testing, that everybody on the team could do a load test. Don't you get pushback about that?
We
Because
get a lot of pushback.
everybody was
Yeah, if
scared
you're
about
a
load tests.
passionate performance engineer, you'd be like, oh, this has to be a full-time job. This cannot be a gig job that you can just spend half a day. You got to get into the weeds of it. You have to intimately understand every detail of the script and how are the servers actually performing. I get it, and I think there is some truth to that. That's why we feel like we should try to make whatever is a boilerplate, uh, sort of work that is involved in load testing. Try to automate all of that stuff. That way, these engineers don't have to do all the grunt work again and again if it's repetitive. Just give them all the automations to the point where they only have to plug the data, they have to plug in the scenarios, and then they can focus on the test and analysis rather than doing the mundane stuff. Yes, the world has changed. I wish we could scale performance engineering groups to a company as big as Intuit, where every team had dedicated performance engineering groups, but it's just not scalable that way.
And on these organizations where you enable everybody on the team, how do they feel about, I don't know, let's give him a name, Danny, the intern, that he may be able to start a Lotus? Are they worried, like, oh, he may bring down the system, or not everybody should?
Yeah, so we we are very restrictive in terms of who can actually run load tests in production. There are a lot of checks in place. Um, and so most engineers, when they bootstrap a service, they get a performance environment uh, to a service. And so we have automations to create a service. So if an intern is joining and they're creating a service, to get a software to release to production environment, there are a lot of checks that have to be done and approvals have to be given. Otherwise, those softwares cannot be deployed to production. Now, if this engineer is directly given access to a production system, that's definitely possible. And yes, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't do that, to an engineer. But if there is human error there, yes, it's possible, because
Yeah.
it's if you have a script that you're running locally and you just change your endpoint to hit production, it's still possible that you can shoot yourself in the feet.
It's important, and I wanted to bring that distinction in between democratizing it, making sure that everybody can if they need to. But there are environments where some customers get like, "Oh, are they gonna do load tests? Are they gonna bring down the environment? Are they gonna kill production?" And that's like, beware production load tests. And there's a line that is interesting to keep care. I love that you have those gatekeeping to say, "Whoa, not everybody. You want to do a load test? Copy the environment, instantiate it for yourself, kill it if you want. Don't worry. You're the intern. You're starting. Have a blast." And around this, it makes me think as well. You mentioned that you chose Gatling as a tool. Why Gatling out of all the other possible tools you mentioned earlier, experience with low runner, etc.?
Yeah.
So why Gatling?
So one of the things, I mean, Leandro, you've been in the industry for a while as well. So you remember Gatling was probably one of the very few tools that was a programming language based, JVM based. Um, and back in the day, if you're a Java developer, you were always like frustrated when you see a configuration based load test script, and you'd be like, man, I don't like XMLs. I don't like to see this. It's difficult to process. Or if you just limit it to a GUI, a custom GUI for load testing, because it just cuts you off from your daily workflow. IDE is where you live. So when something is not in your IDE and you have to shut down your IDE and move on to another completely different UI, there's a learning curve. And we saw that that was not working out. And so when we introduced Gatling, actually a lot of developers, they were already kind of experimenting with Gatling, and so we just made it a standard, and people loved it. We don't have to sell it. I mean, internally within the company, when we said, "Oh, Gatling is the load driver," it just was natural for them to accept it. There was no resistance because they can use the same shared libraries. If you have a security library or an identity library, you can use those same libraries in your load testing scripts. You don't have to rewrite all of those things again. And so that was the primary motivation. And then Gatling also was highly scalable. So for the scale, like that we operate, um, they were the only product that could actually uh, solve this problem with a reasonable cost. It's not that other tools weren't able to scale, but they weren't as efficient at the time when we were evaluating other products.
Wow. And it blows my mind a little bit when you say that when you were there, developers were already playing with a load testing tool, where I'm like, that's not common.
Yeah, yes, because as I said, um, you know, shift left kind of forces every developer. I mean, nobody's gonna come in when there is a system outage. There are no excuses. Your team is on the hook. If you're on the call, you better have justification as to why you didn't study your systems enough to understand what are the saturation points. And so, yeah, most of it is just the culture of DevOps that forced every engineer at Intuit to get into the world of load testing.
That's really cool.
So we
And
still have dedicated performance engineering groups within the company. They do these sort of massive scale load tests for our major products. But for microservices, you have thousands of releases, software releases that happens every day. How do you gatekeep for quality, for performance, reliability? You got to have everyone participate in this process, and so that those were the forcing functions.
That's a really great perspective, and lets me know right away that the whole company is really embracing the shift left. Because I cannot think of many other ways in which developers will be like, yes, I need a load testing tool or an automation tool to my daily basis. It's part of my toolkit already, and not something that the I don't know test center of excellence guy is forcing me to use a weird tool with a weird GUI with something that I'm not familiar with. Because that those are some of the advantages of code-based tools. The developers like, oh, it's Java. I know Java. Okay, painless, straightforward. And as you were mentioning, it's just adapting. You can use the same libraries, whatever you were already using. It's just like, okay, I just run it in another environment. It's a
Yes.
new set of commands, and they didn't feel it that bad, right? Sounds like they were already having a blast with it.
Yeah, they were already enjoying it, and it was just very intuitive for them to use it. And also, Gatling now supports Java and Kotlin. We are a Java-heavy shop, so
Was natural.
it's very natural for them to use
Wow.
Gatling. Yeah.
Now, I'm looking at the time. We're about to start the ramp down period of this interview, pun intended. um, Chaitama, please, for the people that would like to reach out to you, learn more about performance and load testing, or just say hi, where can people find you?
They can find me on LinkedIn, and I have also my email address in the end of the presentation. You can just scan the QR code. I'd be happy to share any information that might be helpful for the community.
Awesome. For the ones that want to add him and do not know how to write the name, it should be displayed down there in the corner under his. And please reach out, get in touch with him. Any next adventures for you? Anything coming up soon? More
No,
conferences?
nothing. I mean, I just finished Dev Week's conference, API World.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we gave a talk about disaster recovery and how to optimize disaster recovery. So we'll be giving more talks about how we optimize disaster recovery in the coming days. We have signed up for a lot more conferences.
Conference
So
organizers, give him a talk. He has cool talks prepared. And disaster recovery is something as well super important that we don't hear enough about in these conferences or in general in the QA world. It's really important. So give Chaitanya a call. Amigo, thank you so much for this time. It has been really a
thank you.
pleasure. Thank you so much. And there you have it, the first superstar of the day. We should have like a wall of hall of stars here on the floor, similar to Hollywood. We are so close to Hollywood. We should be doing something like that, and his name should be there. Now, this is not over. We are just starting. First day of the full conference days of Star West. We are gonna be calling it a day in a moment, and we will have more interviews, panels, walking adventures, and much more. So stay tuned. For now, Leandro out, Chaitanya out. Adios, adios, Chaitanya. Take care, everybody. See you in a bit. And we are all set.